Hi, I'm Mark DeFrates, President of Hands of Care International, co-founder along with my wife Irene and our daughter Lyla. And we're just going to take a little bit of time today and just tell you our story and tell you a little bit about where we come from and how this has all come about. So a little bit of my story is in church one day, and a missionary came in who was working in Indonesia, and he just did some really incredible things and is still doing some incredible things there. It's a pretty rough place to work, and I just enjoyed what he was doing, and it just inspired me, and it put a seed down inside of me for missions. And I didn't realize how big or how much, but after he got done speaking, I went up to talk to him, and two people along the way as I was walking up, one guy just walked up and said, "Hey, you're going to be in Africa on a mission trip someday." And I wasn't sure what to do with that. And as I was walking up closer to the missionary, another guy stepped up in front of me and said, "You're going to be in Africa on a mission trip someday." And yeah, looking back on that now, it's really simple to see, but at that time I didn't realize that. God was putting people in my life to tell me things that he had in store for me, but I didn't fully understand or comprehend that at the time. So fast forward about 7 years, and things started becoming very or abundantly clear because I was in the process. I had my own business. I had a business partner. We were involved in some different businesses, and they were starting to fail. Actually failed big time. And so during this process, I'm like, God, what's going on? I don't get it. Don't understand this, because we're good at what we do. We've proven it over the years. And then I just realized God had a different season for me now. He wanted me somewhere else. But I still didn't realize Africa. And I was traveling around some different places. But what happened was a friend of mine was going to Africa, and I ended up going on a trip with him. And I'll just say God undoubtedly just supplied the money for me to make it on that trip. And during that trip, I'll never forget, we were in Uganda, and I was on top of a building doing some work. And I was just looking out across the expanse there in Uganda, across the bush. And I realized, and I just stood up and I looked up and I said, "Okay, God, this is what I was born for and created to do." And I haven't looked back since that day. And it's been moving forward. Now, I thought I was going to be in other places doing different things and other things. I actually thought I was going to India. God took me back to Kenya and kind of really didn't let me out of there. And I never got back to Asia after that. And so that happened. So I ended up moving back to Kenya, where I started doing some work. We were working with homeless children, orphans, elderly, and some different things. And then I met up with a couple who had a ministry going. And so during our communications, we started doing things. That's where my wonderful wife comes into play in this whole thing, because she was there and she was their daughter. And so we just started working together in the ministry out in the mission field, and what I was doing and what her family was doing. And long story there, but that's how we got together in all of this. And she was the driving force behind what we've done with the children that we do help. And so with that, I'm just going to introduce you to my wife, Irene, and let her tell you about some of the parts that she plays in this.
So the major part that I do for Hands of Care International is the children's ministry. We do have several girls. We have boys too, but the girls are more than the boys. We have girls from South Sudan, others are from Kenya, and most of these girls are from homes where they have been abused. Some of them have gone through physical abuse, sexual abuse, and mental abuse. So when we get these girls, we take them through a short interview just to be able to understand what they've been going through, so that we know best how to take care of them. We bring them into the home, and we take them through school. We take care of their school right from books, stationery, school uniform, and their accommodation. We have a small home where they all live together. It's I would call it a fully furnished house, and that's where they get to eat, sleep, and they wake up from that place every day, and that's what they call their home. We also have one girl at the university, and she's almost graduating, just a little bit more time, and she should be done. And we have one boy who just got into college the past 2 months, and we have about 3 girls who are in 8th grade, while the rest are lower than 8th grade. So far, that's the much that we do with the children.
And so I just want to introduce you to our daughter Lyla, who is, at times has come out and helped us in the field. She'll work with other nurses, and they've kind of taken her under their wing and shown her certain things that they do, and she can explain all that.
So I've gone with my dad to the mission field a couple of times back when we still lived in Africa, and I'm going to say it was a pretty great experience for me because I just love kids, and I enjoyed going out there and working with them and just being able to help them, because I come from a good home, and so I don't really know what it's like to not have everything I need in my life, and so they probably don't know what it's like to have a comfortable bed or dinner every night at the tables. The nurses out there, they showed me how to test the kids and the elderly for malaria, take their blood pressure, and I also liked being out there because I got to comfort the kids, because most kids are scared of needles, and it just made me happy, help them be more comfortable out there, because we're strangers out there, they don't know us, and it just made me happy to be able to calm them down and have conversations with them, just play around with them. I just like to make it a fun experience for those coming there and for those who are working. It's inspired me to want to be a pediatrician. I just love kids, and helping them makes me happy, so it just made sense to me that I should be a pediatrician.
And following along with that, that's why we would like to have people come out on trips with us, short-term, long-trip mission trips, because you might find that passion also. The only thing we ask is that you're born again. That's it. Yeah, we'd love to have medical people. We'd love to have also people in trades that know how to put up buildings, can work with children like my wife was talking about, different things like that. But the main thing is you're born again, you come out with us, and you might find the passion just like our daughters found. One of the experiences that we had as a family kind of before Hands of Care International, while we were doing other things though, is when we'd brought in 10 girls out of South Sudan, but not only that, but there was a family involved with this. So we had 14 people in our house at that time. And it was very interesting going through that process, because you have different cultures that come together, and they look at things differently, view things differently. So on one hand, we have an American, and we have Kenyans, and then we have South Sudanese in there. And it's a very interesting mix. We learned a lot of things from each other, laughed a lot, sometimes might have cried a little bit because things were so different, but it was a really interesting time and a growing season for us during that time, and just learning about people.
We lived in a 3-bedroom house and 14 people in one house. That was a very tight fit over there. I had about 5 girls in my room, but I managed to make a fun time out of it, because 5 girls in a room, that was really fun. We got to stay up all night talking. I didn't understand most of what they were saying, but the little bits I could get, we made a conversation out of it, and it was really fun. Dinner just outside. I'm an only child, so having that many girls in the house was really exciting for me, because I got to have someone to play with, someone to talk with, and it was just a really great experience for me.
How many mattresses did we have all throughout the house with mosquito nets?
I had a bunk bed in my room, so 2 were at the top. I was down there, and then we had like 4 mattresses on the floor like that, so it was like one great big bed on the ground.
We had like, I think 3 mattresses down in the living room, and we just had mattresses everywhere. That's what we had. That's what we could be able to afford at the moment. But I think we made just fun out of it, different cultures. I would say it was a learning experience for me because it was the first time I was living with them like in one house. We've helped people but all from the outside, but this was the first time we were helping them from inside our house. And that was really a great experience because some of the girls were really little and all they could do was cry. I mean, the distance, the travel and all that. But when they got to our house and, you know, met one other girl and our neighbors, it was just a really, really good experience.
And so now we've got a ministry of trucks that we use in our medical field or medical trips, medical camps when we go out. We have a fleet of trucks and vehicles that we use now. And we're reaching people in remote areas. And so we just like to say, we go out into remote areas where we take the gospel. And that's what we do, and we do it through local churches. In the future with HOCI, we're always trying to be obedient to what God has us to do or wants us to do. We believe that we'll keep expanding into other countries because I've worked in Eastern Europe, places like Romania, Ukraine, Moldova, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, predominantly in Africa right now, in Kenya, Tanzania, DRC, a little bit of South Sudan. But we're open to things in expansion and just moving down the road. But we just want to wait on God and see what He has for us. I can't say enough about following what God wants you to do. And I just encourage anyone, if you're struggling with anything right now, do I do this or do I do that? You have to take that step. And I did, and many other people have done it over the decades, and they're glad that they did. It's just been an incredible ride so far. I love it. Can't imagine doing anything else. And we just want to encourage people to come along. We've seen incredible things and some things that are kind of hard at times. But all in all, we know we're doing what God wants us to do, and that's the main thing.
Thank you so much for listening to us and for taking your time to be able to listen to our life story and what we do in the field with HOCI. If you'd like to join our team, you can contact us and we will be able to reach back to you on the guidelines on how you can join our team. Thank you.
Perfect. Yay! Cut.